The odds are that your favorite team's starting quarterback is probably from America. If you had to take a guess, he's probably from Texas, Georgia, Florida, or maybe even California. The one place you don't think of that produces quarterback talent is the continent of Europe, more specifically the country of Germany. Well, what if I told you that a couple years ago, there was a German quarterback prospect who was taking the college football world by storm, signed on to a high major program, and was supposed to one day hopefully make it onto the NFL. That's who we're going to be talking about in today's video. I'm going to introduce you to Alexander Honig. He was the 6'6" generational German quarterback prospect who was hoping to take over the college football world. As a few years have now gone by, he has flamed out at the big-time college football program he signed with and is now playing at the lower end of the FBS at a completely new position. In today's video though, I want to take a look at who this guy is, talk about his rise, how all this happened, and what has happened to the Prodigy. But before we get started, quickly be sure to leave a like if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new and love college football content, and let me know what player, team, topic, or situation I could cover next. Now let's get started and talk about what happened to Alexander Honig. In order to understand what happened to Alexander Honig, we first need to go back in time. According to a Bleacher Report article published a few years ago, it was titled, "If you were to build a quarterback, this is what it would look like." Barton Simmons, the director of scouting for 24/7 Sport, said, quote, "He's enormous, strong, and athletic. He has very unique physical traits and a cannon for an arm." But let's go back in time further. When you hear the word Germany and the word football, your first thought is probably soccer. I mean, I wouldn't blame you. The country is well known for its love of soccer and produces some of the top talent in the sport annually. It's a huge deal over there. But for one young man growing up, it was American football that he fell in love with, and he one day dreamed of playing Division I football in his heart. Except there was an issue. Football was not easily accessible for him, as he grew up in the hometown of Roth, a city of 25,000 people just south of Nuremberg. Going back to football, it's a sport that is not widely played in Germany. In fact, it doesn't even crack the top 10 most popular sports in the country, which is crazy. Alexander Honig was first introduced to football through his dad, who actually played professionally in Germany for quite a while, and eventually passed it on to his son. In 2008, at the age of 41, his dad would make a return to football for the local club team. He switched to the offensive line, but was mostly there to assist and guide younger players. More than anything, he just wanted to be around the game again. This time around though, his two sons had come to watch, and a seed was planted. Alexander said, quote, "I played soccer like every German kid does, but I wanted to start something new. My dad didn't force me to play football. I'm not even sure he wanted me to play, honestly. It was my own decision after watching it, and I quickly fell in love with the sport. By the age of 8, he started playing flag football. At the age of 14, he put on pads and played tackle for the first time. As a kid, Honig rooted for the Patriots and counted Tom Brady as his favorite player, as his dad brought back a documentary of the 2004 Super Bowl season, and he apparently watched it all the time. He was seen as an athletic unicorn in the area, and eventually all those gifts were put together, and he played for the Nuremberg Rams, which were near his hometown. In 2016, he left his club in search of greater competition, and he started for another club, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. It was one of the better youth football teams in Germany. But if he wanted to make it in American football, he'd have to get clever to get noticed, and his first big break would come when a UMass coach would visit Germany to check in on the development of some other players. The coach saw enough in Honig to extend a scholarship offer, and this would be the beginning of his recruiting story. His American adventure, though, started with a bus trip. Him and his dad went to America, and in the summer of 2017, they went to a couple of camps. That's when, at the time, he met Jim Harbaugh. He recognized him as the former head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, and Harbaugh was intrigued by his size and his ball skills, Honig said. Apparently, he had 11-inch hands, and Harbaugh didn't believe it. He asked him to show him, and Jim Harbaugh walked away very impressed. When Honig had met Jim Harbaugh, he had no clue that he was the Michigan head coach or that he had played 14 seasons in the NFL. He said, quote, "I only knew him as a coach at first. My dad told me that he played for Chicago and some of the other teams, and then he also played for Michigan as well. When you're a German quarterback preparing to play big-time college football in America, there's going to be a learning curve." But he didn't give up and started to get more college interest, and there were even more camps and U.S. trips. His dad would drive him around, and he eventually started going to workouts with coaches from West Virginia, to Duke, to South Carolina, to Baylor, and even TCU. Honig, though, was a very hard sell to coaches. Many coaches are very reluctant to take risks at the quarterback spot, and Honig didn't need a ton of offers, though. He just needed one. He said, quote, "I'm not about all these numbers and getting as many offers as I can. I just need one offer that is perfect." Well, he looked like a kid who came straight out of a football factory. He was no slouch, as he was a legitimate QB recruit and not just some fun story. Eventually, he got connected with Brandon Collier, an American who ran a recruiting database out of Germany and helped connect kids, and Collier would help take his recruitment to the next level. He eventually got him connected with Baylor, and the Bears offered him. But that wasn't the offer he wanted, and eventually he got an offer from TCU, which is what he wanted. He said, quote, "I knew I wouldn't get anything better than TCU. TCU was the perfect fit for me, and I had to pull the trigger immediately." He said he wanted to commit quickly because he wanted to get it out of the way, and he wanted to do it before all the other kids had tape, and there'd be another reason to kick him out the door for an American kid. Brandon Collier said, quote, "It's pretty rare to be recruited as a European quarterback. Imagine when he gets the coaching for the next 3 to 5 years at TCU, what his ceiling could be. While he did lack knowledge of the gridiron history, he made up for it in size, skills, and potential." He said he one day wanted to play in the NFL, and he had a lot going for him. His dream was to be the first European NFL quarterback. Collier said, quote, "You've guys who've been coached by great quarterbacks for 10 to 12 years who he's competing against. That's going to be a hurdle. And while he has a big, strong arm, he needs to improve on his mechanics and delivery, and that's going to take coaching and repetition." Standing at nearly 6'6" and 235 pounds, he definitely looks the par and passed the eye test. He's also fluent in English, as his dad helped him learn, and he knew he'd have to outwork competitors in order to make it, as patience might be limited for a German kid playing at the quarterback spot. While he was all set to be a great quarterback, one Penn State coach saw a different future for him. He told him that he'd make a terrific tight end and could one day play on Sundays if he fully bought into being a tight end. But he didn't really want to do that and wanted to be a quarterback. After committing to TCU, he knew that Texas football was going to be different and bring the most out of him. He said, quote, "Especially in Texas, football is like a religion down there. They don't want to have a European losing their game." After he was committed, he was looking forward to watching TCU play in 2020, but with all the delays because of everything going on in the world, he was going to have to wait. He said he was getting goosebumps thinking about it, and that had to be a big deal. Despite being committed and all set to go, he was always going to camps and going over to the US to try and change the narrative. He said, quote, "For me, it's always crucial to get my name out in the US football world. I do that because I think they still don't like the idea of having a European quarterback. I try to prove them wrong with every chance I get." He had the work ethic and the athletic traits, as he had a 38-inch vertical, a mark which hadn't been reached by a quarterback at the NFL Combine since Robert Griffin III. He also ran a 4.7 40-yard dash time and was 6'6". If he could somehow put it all together, some were comparing him to Josh Allen. According to 24/7 Sports, Honig was a 3-star recruit, the number 47 quarterback, the 682nd best player in the class of 2021, and the number 1 player in Germany, obviously. So, what would end up happening to him, and where is he now? Well, honestly, pretty much nothing has happened. He missed the 2021 season due to an injury, but last year in 2022, appeared in 12 games as a special teamer and saw 2 total offensive snaps. He did get to be a part of TCU's run to the national championship game, and I'm sure that was an absolute blast. He got to learn from Max Duggan, but there was a position change in his future. Eventually, the TCU staff didn't see enough of him at the quarterback position, and he moved to tight end. Unfortunately, he was not able to earn significant playing time as he was stuck behind Jared Wiley and DeAndre Rogers. That's why he decided to enter the transfer portal, and he actually found another school in the FBS, as he is now at UConn. I remember watching UConn's game against NC State last week and saw that he got on the field, but I don't think he actually made a catch or registered a snap. Hopefully he'll be able to figure it out with UConn this year, and maybe that Penn State coach who saw him as an NFL tight end will be correct. For now though, the hype has kind of disappeared, and his dream of being an NFL quarterback is probably not going to happen. It is still a great story though, and it's not often that Germany has a big time recruit. I definitely wish the best for Alex, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, let me know your thoughts down below, give me another player I can cover next, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. Hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.